Hi, this is Dr. Shannon Marie with Columbia Basin Hearing Center. I'm an audiologist and owner of this practice, and we wanted to give you a quick consumer or patient alert about some new news you might be hearing about in the hearing industry. So if you have read anything in the news lately, you have probably heard that as of a couple days ago, hearing aids are now available over the counter. So I wanted to be the first to address this and talk to you about some things to look out for and what you should know about it. First and foremost, as an audiologist, I'm so excited that more people are going to have affordable solutions, and it's going to increase the accessibility of hearing options and solutions for those patients. So I'm excited about this. I think it's a good thing for the profession. If you look at optometry, readers have been available over the counter forever. And to be honest with you, it's kind of interesting this is getting so much news right now. The news is revolving around the FDA clearance of over-the-counter hearing aids, but over-the-counter hearing aids have been available for years. In fact, back to the 1980s, there was a product called Songbird that was an over-the-counter hearing aid. So these devices that are coming out actually have been in existence for a long time. It's just that the FDA has finally put some rules together about what that product looks like. So that's exciting as well, knowing that there's going to be some more stringent guidelines that places have to follow to produce and sell those products. So here's a few things though. When I was reading through, there was a 200-page document that was released, and I read through it within a couple days. I also have attended a couple industry meetings to get the scoop on what we need to know about this and what it means for our patients. One of the things I found interesting is they're using these over-the-counter hearing devices for what they call a perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. So that simply means that someone has to think that they have a mild to moderate hearing loss, but there's no way to quantify that. So they're not having any testing or any verification of that to start with. The things that concern me about that is a lot of the patients that I know or that I see over my years in the practice, they can perceive their hearing loss a lot less than it actually is. And so someone with a more severe loss could very easily have some maybe denial in there or some other issues with coming to terms with it and just blame their hearing loss on other people not speaking loud enough or other factors and say, oh yeah, maybe I have a little hearing loss. But without having that hearing test, it's very difficult to tell if those devices will be appropriate for you. So I know that the FDA is saying that there's not a test needed, and their goal is to be able to get it so that people can just buy it right off the shelves, which again, there are some pros and cons to this. But I still really advocate for patients to know where their hearing is, especially because screenings are free, most insurance cover them, and if there's any medical components behind the hearing loss, we can let you know. I mean, I would hate to have a patient go and spend any amount of money on an over-the-counter product and have their hearing loss be due to earwax or perhaps a medical condition like eustachian tube dysfunction or something that could be easily addressed from a medical standpoint before investing money on it. So that was an interesting one. I'll be following that. The perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. Again, everyone perceives their hearing very differently. I have some patients with a lot of hearing loss that think they hear very normally. So I would just hate to see people spending money on a product that might or might not work for them because they don't even know where their hearing is in the first place. So another thing I want you guys to be aware of is the FDA is not requiring or mandating any stipulations on return period. This was a big one because for the hearing industry, at least here in Washington State, it's mandated that you have at least a 30-day trial period no matter where you get those hearing aids, and that trial period could actually be extended if need be. We actually usually offer a 75-day product or trial period with most of our devices that we fit, and we really find that it takes a couple months for kind of the brain to get used to hearing, for us to dial those in so that people are experiencing their best hearing possible. So there's no mandate on return periods, and they do acknowledge as well this is a product that's going to come into contact with what they call bodily fluids, so earwax, sweat, things like that. It's not a product you can simply take break and put on the shelf again. I'm a little concerned that I'm going to have patients that are looking for, more cost-effective routes, going and buying hearing aids and then discovering after a couple of weeks, gosh, this really isn't doing what I think it should, trying to return it and being out those monies. So that's something that's concerning for me. I would definitely take a look and check that and make sure you understand what that return period is if you do decide to get one of these devices. So speaking of these devices, again, there have been some of these on the shelves for a long time. We haven't seen any very good products on the shelves. So with Apple and Bose and other companies eyeballing the space now, in fact, some have already jumped in and put displays out in like your Best Buy or Walmart. My concern with that is these are brand new products. We have no idea what the reliability or the lifespan is on them. So a typical hearing aid, we want to last 4 to 6 years, which if you look at the life of that hearing aid, the investments also going for the care and the maintenance and the adjustments, everything that you need to take care of that device and have it function well in that period of time. Again, I suspect from what I've heard from the major manufacturers, over-the-counter hearing aids are going to come in about the same price, maybe a little less than an entry-level hearing aid, but there's not going to be any care or service attached to that. And so what happens if your hearing aid breaks in 6 months? Are you out hearing aids? Do you have to send them away to another country and wait months until you get them back? What if the lifespan is 2 years? I know that there are some major chains that have lower prices than us, but again, we try to make the hearing aids last 4 to 6 to 8 years, where some of those chains like to churn them over a lot faster. And so although the price point's lower on the front end, you're buying them twice as often. So I'll be curious to watch that develop as these products hit the market, the longevity of them. If you're spending $1,000, $2,000 every year or two, guys, I would say get a good quality hearing aid and get all the care and service that you need to support it in the meantime. Which then leads me to my last point, is the service and care. Now, there is no doubt this is going to be a product that's going to be great for some people. You're going to be able to just grab it, make some changes maybe on an iPhone or something like that, put it in their ear and go. But there are still going to be a lot of patients that need that care and maintenance to make sure that their hearing aids work well. Hearing aids are delicate devices that sit in a warm, moist canal all day, and they're prone to break down due to sweat and other things. Our major hearing aid companies have put millions of dollars into research and development into making these technologies more resistant to dust and sweat and things like that. But we recommend getting our patients in every 3 to 4 months for professional cleaning, for using vacuums, for changing the microphones, the filters, the wax guards. These are all little delicate small pieces that you can't, as an average consumer, change and adjust and clean and really get that maintenance as needed. And again, if there are just some blanket targets or prescriptions for these hearing aids, do we know that it's programmed the way that you need to? Is it adjusted to your specific hearing levels? That's going to be a really big difference. But going back to the service, I see a lot of patients that receive top-of-the-line hearing aids through the VA. Now, the VA is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but they are very backlogged in terms of their ability to provide the care and the counseling to make those patients successful. And so a lot of times I'll see patients with $8,000, maybe $10,000 with accessories and all the bells and whistles of hearing aids, and they're sitting in a drawer because they never saw their doctor, or they couldn't get the fine-tuning appointments or the service in a timely manner, and so it was never dialed in. They were never shown how to be successful with the hearing aid. And I guess that's what I would say at the end of the day, is a hearing aid is a widget, guys, and my goal as a doctor is getting you hearing the best possible. But we also realize that it's not just a widget that does that. It's a team of professionals coming around you, making sure we know exactly what's going on with your hearing, exactly what's going on with the brain and how it handles speech, making sure your spouse is on the same page and knows your limitations of your hearing loss, doing follow-up verification, so measuring the output of the hearing aid in your ear, putting you in noisy situations and measuring how successful you are. These are the steps that your team takes as an audiology care center to make sure that you're successful with that device, not just when you're fit, but for the life of the hearing aid. And so again, I'm thrilled there's some great lower cost options. I don't think they're much less than a lot of basic hearing aids, which include those services. There's lots of financing programs available. There's also low income programs available. There is a chance we might carry some of these in the future if they offer a high quality, response for our patients. But again, I want to watch. I want to make sure that whatever we offer to you is the same quality product that you're used to seeing at Columbia Basin Hearing Center, and that we're able to get you the best hearing no matter what your financial range is. So thank you again. I look forward. If I learn anything more, I'll sure let you know. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about this legislature or how it's impacting you, be sure to come to Columbia Basin Hearing Center first, as we're your place to go to for anything ear related. Happy hearing.